These are toys. These are little men. This is Greedo. And then this is Hammerhead. See, this is Walrus Man. And then this is Snaggletooth. And this is Lando Calrissian. See? And this is Boba Fett. And look, they can even have wars. Look at this.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Tower, before the Empire.
If you want the power of the dark side,
you may fire when ready.
I'll show you the dark side. We would be honored if you would join us.
Don't worry, R2. We're going.
Back it up, Buzzsaw. You must have what you have to get.
I am a Jedi, like my father.
Force will be with you, always.
Welcome back to Blah Wars. I hope you enjoyed that little intro there, little clip from E.T., where Elliot is showing E.T. his Star Wars action figures. I always liked that scene as a kid because it was obviously about the only bit of E.T. I did like as a kid because I was terrified of E.T.
You didn't like E.T.?
I was scared the shit out of me, mate. Absolutely terrified me. Didn't you find it scary?
No.
It was horrifying. My dad always tried to make me watch E.T. and I was absolutely scared to death of E.T. because he's got really long fingers and he goes wah wah wah, and it was god.
But he eats not Maltese.
And at the end, when the people come and they sort of come through the door and they invade the house,
I didn't like.
That's really scary.
E.T.'s a great film, but as a kid, it was too much of an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, this poor little alien that I just fell in love with, and suddenly he's being probed by adults, and you kind of think, hang on, what's going on here? You really were scared of him?
Yeah, I was really, really fucking scared of E.T. I'm not the only one. I've spoken to my friends. You know, in our childhood, there was some really scary films. We were talking about this the other week. You know, especially with Superman 3 and all that. But you know, you love him, but you're also terrified of him. And now, as an adult, E.T. is one of my favourite sort of nostalgic films. I absolutely love it. But there was well into my 20s, I couldn't watch E.T. Well into my 20s.
Well, how did the music go?
It's a good little song, that one. That's when John Williams was at the top of his game. But the reason why I put that little intro in there this week was because we want to talk about toys, don't we, and toy commercials, really. That's the big...
We do, yeah.
That's the big talking topic. We've got some news as well to talk about on the show. And I just want to say up front, before we actually sort of start the episode this week, in recent weeks, we've sort of like been able to push things a little further, and we're now you can now listen to this podcast on a few different options. So you can go to blahwars.com, which is basically a Podbean where you can listen to the shows immediately as they go live. And then what we upload them there, that's the first place to sort of hear it. And then what happens over the next sort of couple of hours is the show will appear on iTunes, which some of you listen to. And also now the show is going to be available, or is available, on Spotify. So we've been trying to get on Spotify for fucking ages. Big round of applause. Thank you for the guys at Podbean and Spotify for getting all our shows up on there really nice and fast. They've been amazing. And it's great. You type in Star Wars and our show pops up, and that's so awesome. So we're hopefully we're going to reach new listeners from all over the world, people who just are bored at work and need a bit of spice in their life. You know,
spice up your life with a bit of John and Jude. Talk Star Wars and Gumph. But yeah, no, we are talking toys, and the reason is a couple of reasons. One, old school commercials, toy commercials. We'll get into that in a bit, but mainly because Christmas is coming up, and it got me thinking. Two things. Are you getting anything? Have you asked Santa for anything Star Wars related this Christmas? If so, what is it?
Absolutely no, I've not actually, mate. Well, to be honest, my parents are very... let us know what you want for Christmas. I never do, so I never really think about it. I honestly got no... The only sort of Star Wars related thing I'd like to get my hands on is maybe the new Battlefront game. But that's about it.
Yet. Is it in beta?
It's not even out. No, it's not out yet. It's coming out soon. The beta's been and gone, so that was only briefly available. But no, that's the only thing. Have you got anything on the wish list?
Couple of things, mate. Couple of things. Apart from the standard Star Wars socks that my mum.
Oh yeah.
She still does a little Christmas sack.
Yeah.
And it's always the same thing. A couple of Star Wars socks thrown in.
Yeah.
Star
Wars has been a big part of my Christmas routine since I was about 8 years old. I think not a single year has gone by without some sort of Star Wars related gift or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of been there since the early 90s, really, for me.
There's look, I mean, we don't really do presents anymore. It's that's been passed down to the next generation. The kids get it these days. We try and buy ourselves stuff. I buy myself stuff. So if I was to buy myself something for Christmas, I've seen a couple of things. Where's Wookiee? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen this.
It's like Where's Wally, but with Wookiees. Yeah. I quite like the idea of that. I found one on I think StarWars.com put one out, and it was sort of one of these 3D immersive puzzles that you like flip around on your mobile. And I spent ages on it. Spent a whole train journey.
This is like a Where's Wally game of
the
Find Chewbacca.
What I loved about it was the detail in some of the illustrations were phenomenal. You've got I think there's a scene. The one that I really liked was a scene that was on at the end of The Force Awakens, where they're all celebrating that they've blown up the what's the planet?
Starkiller Base,
blimey. And you've got Rebels, you've got like the hologram of the original Death Star. You've got everyone in there from Sam Weasel all the way through to Maz Kanata, and mixing up prequel with old with new sequel trilogy stuff. It was great. It was kind of like a feast for the eyes. And once you forget you're looking for the Wookiee, to be honest, mate. You're just enjoying the landscape.
Cool.
I sort of flipped through that in a Waterstones over the weekend. So I wouldn't mind getting my hands on that. But I tell you what, I really would like is the R2D2. You've got the BB-8.
Sphero.
I'd like that, but the R2D2 one.
That R2D2 one looks gorgeous. Really well made. Looks solid as a rock as well. All the articulations there and stuff like that. All the mannerisms.
Have you heard of Little Bits?
Little Bits, no.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. It's really hard to explain. It's basically you create little circuits.
Right.
It's like Lego, but with circuits, and in there you've got sort of mini speakers and lights and all of this sort of stuff. And you can make it talk to your phone, or do a little bit of coding on the side as well. And it's kind of like, I've been to a few hackathons where you kind of play with these things and try and create something. So you've got like a control hub, you've got like a power socket, a load of wires and sensors and lights and you name it. But they've teamed up with Star Wars, right?
Okay.
And there's an R2D2 version that you basically create this circuit board yourself from scratch.
Right, okay.
And put all the bits in together. And then you create this little bits.
So it's a build it at home R2D2 kit.
Yeah, it looks really. I mean, to actually do it from scratch and have this thing wheel around and make the noises and light up and all of that from scratch. I mean, so it's the next level up from Lego.
Yeah.
I can imagine myself on Boxing Day treating myself to that.
I do like to get hold of Star Wars Lego now and again and just go back and do an old school Christmas Day where I spend the day building a big Lego set. I did that with the Falcon. Actually, I did that when The Force Awakens came out. I went a bit over the top and bought loads of them, and I subsequently sold those because I just needed space. But I did have the Falcon and Kylo Ren's shuttle, and the Falcon was the most fun to build, really. I mean,
that wasn't the massive one. The massive one that's just come out.
No, the massive one that's just come out. I'm never going to pay for something like that. It's just way too much.
How much is that? It's like £300.
That's way more than that, I think. I think
Really?
I'm not sure what the price of that one is. Do you want to Google it quickly? I'll tell you what is
just have a quick
amazing,
look.
though. If you're into your Lego and you're into your movies, off-topic Star Wars here, Lego have released the actual firehouse from Ghostbusters. And it's an
really?
absolute replica. I mean, the amount of detail, intricate detail in there, it retails for about 300 quid.
Wow.
And it's got loads of small little Easter eggs from scenes you've seen in Ghostbusters 1 and 2. It's the original cast, Ghostbusters. It's amazing. A beautiful piece. It's sort of Lego for adults, you know. Google it if you've not already seen it. The Lego Ghostbusters Firehouse is absolutely incredible. How much does that retail for? That Falcon?
Have a guess.
I reckon 500.
Mate, 1,900.
Really? Is that because it's sold out and there's people flogging it for that much now?
Of course, yeah. I'm looking at eBay. Someone's selling it for $5,000 here.
Well, that might be the original one though, because the one that came out a few years ago and sold out everywhere.
Oh, really? This is the Millennium Falcon Ultimate Collection Lego we're talking here.
Right. Okay.
I watched some guy. It took him like 5 weeks to put it together.
You've seen the Star Destroyer one, the Executor, whatever it's called, the one of Vader's Star Destroyer. That's a absolutely humongous model, like 6 foot long type of thing. It's ridiculous.
Mate, I think it's sold out.
I reckon this kind of stuff gets snapped up by collectors and then flogged by dealers immediately.
Yeah.
You know, I got my hands on one of those little mini NESs and a mini Super Nintendo, and you can get them if you look hard enough. You can get them from somewhere like a trusted retailer for the retail price of £60. But what people are doing is buying them, flog them on eBay for 150 because they're sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just just people trying to make a buck, isn't it?
That's just insane,
You remember
mate.
that Darth Vader helmet I've got? I bought that for £299, I think it was. And it's sold out now, not available, completely out of print or out of production. And they're all over eBay and they're going for hundreds more than what I paid for them. So I'm just going to hold on to it. I mean, I obviously plan to hold on to it. But I didn't expect it to be worth anything, straight away or anything like that. So but it's already, because it's hard to come by, I suppose, because Forbidden Planet don't have it anymore. They're not producing anymore. It's kind of we're living at an age where there's like really where new things for Star Wars come out. People know they're going to be collectible. They sell out immediately and then they're gone. And then they're already worth like twice, 3 times what they sold for.
Limited editions of these things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, particularly with the figures and stuff like that. But
isn't there like there's a is it a Luke figure for The Last Jedi that's floating around with it's sort of got a warped or melted face, and there's only like 5 of these things.
You mean it's like a defect?
Yeah, it's like a production defect,
right?
And people are kind of wetting themselves and wanting to try and get one of these bad boys, and it's already selling.
Back in the 70s, there was a trading card of C-3PO, where due to some sort of photographic anomaly, it looks as if C-3PO it's the shot of him getting out of the oil bath, and it basically looks like he's got a massive golden cock, like a massive boner.
Right.
You've got to Google this. It's on a top trading card. And there's just like a small...
I think I've heard of it, and I'll tell you why I've heard of it.
And it's
I
very
think you told me, John. So, mate, just talking to toys, we've had a message from Mark, who he does a podcast called TSW Toy Box Daily.
Yeah.
He wants to get involved and listen to his show. It's pretty good. If you want to get like properly next level nerdy about toys,
Mark's your man.
Definitely listening to that. I mean, he goes into the detail of everything, like everything. So definitely dive into that. Or if you want to keep it light-hearted and just keep it right here with us on Blah Wars. But yeah, I think he wants to do a collaboration. So we might jump on his show at some point, and we'll try and get him on ours as well. So
it'd be cool.
Look out for that in the future.
We'll have to mix it up a bit. It's nice to do crossovers as well.
It is.
Everyone loves a crossover. I mean, look at the Marvel franchise. See what they're doing these days. It's crossover coming out your ears. Yeah,
They love
so
you like cross.
I did check out this week's episode, and I do listen to the occasional one anyway. But I don't do them often. The Sleeping Giant, who you can find on Instagram. Their name is SG Cards and Toys. They're big fans of the show. He's recently just done a new episode featuring his wife, and they're talking about Star Wars. They're testing each other's Star Wars trivia. That was cool. I'd listened to that yesterday. It was very fun, very enjoyable.
I listened to the one on Vader. He did a really good show on Vader.
You did? Yeah, I heard that one too. Yeah, really, really good.
And do you know what? He's a lovely bloke as well. We haven't personally spoken to him in person.
It's nice hearing a Star Wars podcast where there is obviously similar sort of dislike about certain aspects of the franchise as ours, but they're a lot more even-handed about it than we are. It's nice to hear that perspective of it coming from some very nice people. So check that out if you can.
I'd love to see. There's got to be a Star Wars show out where they're just complete and utter knobheads.
Well, it must. What you mean, like just horrible people? Maybe that's
horrible people.
That's us, mate.
That hate Star Wars, and their whole show is dedicated to hating on the wars.
Oh, I bet there are, but we're probably
off like that.
Yeah,
we started off like that.
We're probably the most. We're not very sycophantic, are we? I mean, we're religious about certain aspects of the franchise, but we're not really like we don't. Someone put on in iTunes in a review once about us. We don't worship at the altar of all things Star Wars. I think I'm sorry if I misquoted them, but they said something along those lines. And I agree. We don't really. We're well.
Say it like it is, bro.
Well, I think we're up for. It isn't the most important thing in the universe, but we both love it. But we can take the piss out of it as well. And I don't think anyone.
We don't worship it. Basically, no. We're just fans. Mate, what was I going to say? Talking of Instagram peeps, Gooch has been on again.
Yeah, as always.
Did you see that advert he sent through for that game?
Yes, I did, and I thought it was Jim Carrey in that game.
So did I.
But it wasn't. But it's what was the game called? It's a vintage commercial from America. It was
like 1992.
Yeah,
and it was
very early.
Some sort of, black and green screen game that you could go and play in an arcade.
Actually, you know what? I think it's earlier than that because it's for the Atari. Right, yes. So it's called Star Wars, the arcade game commercial from 1984. And I believe it's for the Atari 2600 and the Atari 5200. So Google it. Actually, to tell you what, we're going to we'll stick the advert in now.
Star Wars. It's great in the arcade. Whoa! TIE fighters! Fireballs! Coming right at me! Watch the laser towers. Aim for the tops. Pick on the cannons. Use the force. They're coming too fast! It's way! It's way! My shields are gone! Alright! I'm going in!
Oh, some game, huh?
Some game!
In a galaxy of video games, there is only one. Star Wars, the arcade game.
It's a fucking bonkers advert, mate.
Mental.
It's absolutely off
mental.
the chain. It's really this coked up guy with enormous hair that keeps getting bigger. And the dialogue in it's really weird as well. I mean, it's completely off-brand, isn't it?
I think that's the weirdest thing. It's off-brand. It's not Lucasfilm. He looks like he's off his tits on coke. Just absolutely freaking out on stuff. But mind you, that's sort of if you YouTube, right? Actually, I've got a little confession to make here, John.
Yeah,
a little confession. One of my biggest things to do when a Star Wars trailer gets dropped isn't to watch the trailer, right? It's to just YouTube people watching the trailer,
right?
Reactions to the trailer.
Yeah,
I love it because people are freaking out like that dude right there.
What were these new films?
Yeah, I
did see. I think you sent me something, and all it was just really young girls crying, and I was like, "Fuck
that sounds weird."
That's just.
Hang on, wait. Say that again, mate.
It was really young girls like crying and people like squealing and stuff. And it's like people heard us watching that trailer the other.
Mental.
If you want to go back, you can listen to our trailer.
It was a collection of random people,
sycophants,
girls, boys, whatever. It might have just been women.
A load of hysterical, hormonal young women going through puberty,
right?
Confronted with the idea of Adam Driver killing his mum or something like that, and they're getting all emotional. I think everyone needs to calm the fuck down about The Last Jedi. Yeah, we're all excited, but calm the fuck down. I mean, have you heard the news about Battlefront 2? So this is on the subject.
Did this make you go
on the
mad?
subject of calm the fuck down. Okay.
All right, go on.
The Darth Vader character for the new Battlefront 2 game is going to take 40 hours of gameplay to unlock. Okay.
Right.
Star Wars fans, players are fucking livid. Okay. EA have received complaints and death threats. Okay, now if you're listening to this show, and I know that people listen to this from all over the world. I was looking earlier today. I saw some stats. There's someone we picked up a brand new listener, and he was in, or she was in Silicon Valley. So they literally got everything off us today. So they're going back and listening to stuff. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the kind of person that spends all day playing Star Wars games, and you know you love it, but. If you're the kind of person that thinks it's acceptable to send a death threat because a character you have to work hard to unlock isn't immediately available to you as soon as you unpack the game, then you need to take a fucking long look at yourself in the mirror and maybe go outside and socialise with normal people. And please, do not let that... But if anybody knows who I'm talking about, do not let that person have access to firearms, okay? Or any kind of weapons. That person should be sectioned. I'm sorry, it's for your own fucking good. You need to... maybe if
just weird,
and if your mum... If your mum is like listening and you know who I'm talking about, mum, why don't you just like take his Xbox away and punish him for a little bit, you know?
It's clearly a 12-year-old boy that...
well, one person said there's a thread on Reddit called "Seriously?" I paid $80 to have Vader locked, and basically people are fucking furious about this.
Work for it.
Yeah, you work for it. Now,
this
I
is
don't
the trouble with this generation. I'll tell you what. The older I get, the sicker I get. I'm 32 now. I'm 32 now, John, and I'll tell you what. I'm getting sick of it. I used to be one of the young. I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
The wind has well and truly come out of our sails.
I'm bored. I've gone bald. I've got a dad bod. I'm sick of it. And I'll tell you what, if you're listening and you're 12, stop listening to our show, mate. There's too much swearing going on. Turn off, tune out, bugger off. Next. I got hold of an old favourite of mine on my Xbox One. I got hold of Red Dead Redemption, which was previously available on the Xbox 360. Without doubt, the best video game I've ever played. One of the only games I've ever completed to 100%. Anyway, got hold of it, and sure enough, because I purchased them before, all my add-ons came down with the game, and I went to start playing the game and realised that the previous all my progress I'd made years ago was gone, and I had to start the whole game again. And you know what? I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled about that because I get to go on the whole journey all over again. I get to hunt all the bears and shoot all of the... You work hard for it.
You work hard. There's even a bit where you have to collect fucking flowers. That's the problem with these younger generations now. I sound about 80, but... Instant gratification, instant gratification. The internet just throws stuff at you. You're used to Amazon. You're used to one-click purchases on Prime. Yep.
Don't work for it, mate. Oh, I want a mortgage now.
Yeah.
Well, give me a deposit. Nah. No, forget that. Work hard for it.
When I was a kid, I used to have to go around boot fairs and wherever I could convince my parents to drive to, and we'd look around, and if we'd go around a whole load of crap and sort through boxes of people's old toys and stuff, and eventually we'd usually come home with at least one Star Wars related find, and that was like treasure. We were richer for that experience. Today I can go straight onto eBay and I can just type Star Wars. I don't even have to complete the fucking word without all these suggestions coming up, and in an afternoon I could buy what would have taken me years to acquire in a matter of minutes. Do you understand what I mean? I think my life, Jude, our lives were richer for working for something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, mate, massively.
Waiting, anticipating for Star Wars to come on TV because we didn't have the videos and all that kind of stuff, you know?
I mean, even instant gratification in terms of, okay, you've got a Star Wars film on your phone now and you can just drag it to wherever you want it in the film.
Yeah.
I had to press rewind and double press it hundreds of times on a VHS for it to get to Jabba's past Jabba's palace and Return of the Jedi. I just thought that whole scene was superfluous. But man, just even little interactions like that. Kids don't know they're born these days. I'm sick of it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Sick of it.
But so
don't know why we're talking like that. We work in digital. We feed this stuff to people.
Well, and the irony is, of course, we like to make our podcast available on demand to everybody. I think what we should start to do, if we really want to take our own advice on, is release this podcast.
Cassette
release it on cassette, and you have to write in, and we post it off to you. It takes 30 days to get each episode.
Yeah.
So you have to work for it,
guys.
We'll
send you a little Blah Wars badge as well. It's like Blue Peter.
Yeah.
You get to wear that. You get in for 50% off.
We should definitely design some Blue Peter inspired Blah Wars badges, and then you can if you see another guy wearing one or a girl wearing one.
Yeah.
Actually, don't if it's a girl, but if you see a guy wearing one, go up, give him a cheeky pat on the bum, and that's the secret password. Obviously, if you see a girl wearing one, don't go up and pat her on the bum.
I don't condone any of it, mate. It's in this day and age, it's not worth even suggesting it.
Give him a cheeky peck on the lips and go.
Don't do any of it. Just hold your hand out in a normal handshake and go. All right,
fellow listener. Yeah.
No. Don't touch anyone. Don't touch anyone. Just walk up to someone and go blah. And if they return the favour by saying "Wars," you're in the club.
Yeah, true.
There'll probably be hundreds of people walking around the world just going up to random people going blah.
Yeah,
blah.
When I say blah,
you say "Wars."
That's exactly it.
If there are any DJs or MCs listening, I'd like to get that remixed.
But should we talk about toys and, more importantly, commercials, adverts? Christmas and all this kind of stuff. So you basically got in touch with me earlier this week and said have a look at all these classic old ads, and I've seen a lot of them before, but it's lovely, even though I wasn't alive in the 70s, to watch those vintage commercials, and we'll stick one in now to give you an idea of what we're talking about.
The Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot from the Star Wars action figures collection, each sold separately.
I'm Jawa. Want to buy a droid? Sure, what you got?
It's R5-D4 and the power droid.
Sold.
And here's Greedo, Han Solo, and Walrus Man.
You've had it now, Solo. Yeah. Greedo, it's Ben Kenobi and his lightsaber. We're in trouble. Let's get out of here.
Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot, R5-D4, Greedo, and other action figures sold separately from Kenner.
And you get the idea from listening to that, just how differently things were marketed back then. I think how kids were really using their imagination as well. And it's really sweet. Those kind of nostalgic old Star Wars ads, and there's so many of them available on YouTube that someone's very carefully added together all of the Star Wars toy commercials for each original film. And now you can go through and sort of enjoy those and see how those evolve. But the cool thing about those old Star Wars toys was there was so much available. And, you'd go and see Star Wars at the cinema, and in a time before VHS and all that, you'd go away, and I suppose you could get books and maybe trading cards to try and relive the movie that way. But there was no other way of watching Star Wars except for going to the cinema. So you'd have to... You had no other choice but to recreate Star Wars with all these toys. And it's just great that they gave them so many different characters.
It was enough for your imagination to kind of just take over. You had the props, now your imagination kicks in.
Yeah,
These
definitely.
days, again, it's just kind of like it's just doing it all for you. People are brain dead sick of it. I'm sounding well on wony today, mate.
That's all right.
From Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection, it's Millennium Falcon that you put together. Batteries not included.
Nice landing, Han Solo. Uh-oh, come on, Chewbacca. Stormtroopers are coming.
Action figures each sold separately.
Got him on radar. I'll fire the laser cannon.
There's even a hidden storage hatch.
Ready for takeoff. Jump to light speed. We're gone. On to the Death Star.
Millennium Falcon from Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately.
If you go on the YouTube Jigamabob, and the one I sent you with the commercials 70s to 90s, if you get in there at 43 minutes 08, there's these two kids in their garden. There's sort of like Jedi training, and Yoda's sort of a puppet. Now that reminds me of a little talking puppet that I had back in 1999. and I've still got it. But
you had the Yoda talking puppet. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the vintage one. Sorry, yeah, carry on.
Not the vintage,
no.
the 99
yep.
one. But it was, I loved it. It was so good. And you had this tiny little blue lightsaber that you got with it. And you'd interact with it. And through, I don't know what it was, some sort of infrared or something, it could tell whether you've swiped down to the left, swiped down to the right.
Nice.
So he'd train you. But I was down at my parents' the other day, and I had a quick cheeky look in the loft, and it's still there. But the rubber, because it was talking, the rubber's
corroded away.
To deteriorate.
Yeah. Problem with rubber and latex,
shame.
isn't it? I mean, that's why a lot of the old costumes are now disintegrated because not costumes, but the masks and rubber masks and all that. Latex doesn't last. I'm pretty sure that the original Yoda's it's gone. There is no Yoda puppet anymore. It's a right shame. Some things do not last forever. I mean, that's why they made those Palatoy Death Stars play sets made out of cardboard, which I mean, you can still find them in mint condition if you look very hard.
We saw a couple, didn't we, when we went to the Comic Con?
Yeah, we never looked inside though, but that would have been great to see the condition of those. I mean, Christ,
ridiculous!
It's just a lot of money for a load of card, but very rare card, I suppose. But I
suppose it's meaningful to people. It literally brings back memories. One of the adverts that I sent through, I think it's actually on the long one, and I think you mentioned it to me, and I'd never seen it before. It was sort of like this tree house, and then below it had the speeder bike attached to it as a swing from Return of the Jedi and Endor.
Yep.
That looked amazing. And it's sort of like a Ewok village above and all this other stuff. It was that just looked insane.
Was this the Ewok village play set? It's like 3 tree stumps.
No. It's like
a big tree.
Yeah. In your garden.
Yeah, that's right.
And it had it was a swing. It was, it was big, and you could.
Yeah, it's a climbing frame. Basically, a climbing frame. I think it was supposed to be some sort of imperial outpost or lookout thing, but it had it had a swing underneath it in the shape of, or styled to be in the shape of, a speeder bike. It's basically called the Return of the Jedi Scout Walker Command Tower with speeder bike ride, and it's literally like a kind of garden den on sticks on legs. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's I would have loved that in my garden as a kid. I expect that'd be very hard to find. Even the dog's there. The dog's on the poster. You can look it up. And inside the actual command tower, there's like a little miniature computer console you can sit at and stuff. Obviously, you'd have to be about maybe 4 years old, 5 years old max to get in there. You wouldn't be able to fit if you're any older than that. But wonderful piece, really cool.
No, it's lovely. There's a few other commercials that I like, or adverts, if you're in the UK. C-3PO's, the cereal.
Oh, man. Yes.
We're lost. My fault, but you... No!
Neither!
Food? Yes, crunchy food. C-3POs.
New Kellogg C-3POs. Twin rings phased together for a crunchy new force at breakfast.
Yeah, the force is with us.
A delicious part of this nutritious breakfast.
Okay!
More? Of course. How much?
Yeah!
Oh, my.
C-3POs, a new force at breakfast.
Because Andy Daniels did all the adverts, didn't he? He loved doing the voiceover stuff for C-3PO.
He does everything for
he does. Never turns it down.
Now, were they in the UK? I mean, this is going back years. I never remember them myself.
I think they were, but I mean, I wouldn't. I'm only going by the name Kellogg's and whatever because we have that cereal here in the UK. But obviously, I wasn't born until '85, by which time those would have vanished completely, I expect. But basically, in the UK now we have a cereal called Start. It's kind of quite hard to find, but it's basically like three Cheerios all stuck together.
It's the red branding.
Yeah, that's right. So it's basically the same thing as that, and it was rebranded C-3POs.
If you go, can I
put
just
the
point you
advert
out
for
to a
that?
little character?
What character?
Little character. If you go to 20 seconds into that C-3PO cereal commercial, there is the weirdest little alien giving him some C-3PO cereal.
Oh, fuck me. That's strange. Yeah, they've obviously designed and made their own Star Wars alien, and it looks... it's creepy.
It looks really like a spider,
weird.
doesn't it? It's like really
like
weird.
A tarantula, but a humanoid tarantula thing. Yeah, pretty strange.
And what I like is the director's obviously gone. He needs to look happy. He needs to look like he's smiling, like he's really enjoying the cereal. He's like really enjoying it.
This cereal must have come out alongside Return of the Jedi because it's got the Mon Calamari cruiser, and it says at the beginning, copyright 1984. So it actually came out the year following Return of the Jedi, so it's a little bit late to the party, this one.
My favourite Star Wars ad that's out there, and I stumbled across this one, I must admit, I wasn't alive when it came out, is the Empire Strikes Back commercial for Underoos. Now, you heard of these bad boys?
Yes, I have. I saw the advert you sent me earlier.
Yeah.
That's UNDEROOS, like a compound word of under and kangaroo.
It's weird, isn't it? It's basically Star Wars underwear for kids.
Like vest and pants.
It's got a thing chain. It's got
and
the
you
lyrics
can get
are weird.
them in the style of different characters from the films.
Yeah,
and it has a little dancey song. R2D2's in the. I tell you what, let's just play the advert now.
Yep.
But it does need to be seen to be believed. So we'll play the advert now.
In the not-so-distant future on a planet called Earth, it's Underoos.
Star Wars Boba Fett is here. That means Darth Vader's always near. C-3PO is lots of style. And R2-D2 just makes me smile. Star Wars Underoos are here, yeah! Something out of sight in underwear.
Don't be so ridiculous, R2. Underoos are for Earthlings.
And what I'd say is definitely go onto YouTube and have a look at that. Don't do it at work because it might look a bit weird that you're looking at children dancing around in their underwear. You know, HR might call you into a room at the end of the day. So, mate, that's fucking straight. That's definitely the weirdest one I've ever seen.
The line I like, was it Underoos lets Darth Vader know that he's always near or something? It's just a bit weird. Just a bit weird. And 3PO at the end saying, don't be silly, R2. Underoos are for Earthlings.
If you were a child back in the 80s, would you have worn those? Would you have wanted the Star Wars Underoos?
What are they like pyjamas? Or are they
no, it's just underpants. It's just vest and pants.
Probably not, I'll be honest.
I'm surprised.
Really?
I actually, I mean, you know, I'm a 32-year-old man. I have Star Wars underwear. I do have Star Wars underwear, which you've seen.
Yeah.
I did get it out once, and the underwear at work. We were recording a podcast at the time, and but I do. I've got Star Wars underwear. I've got various pairs.
What happened was, you went, well, you can't come here. I got out of my desk. You literally took your jeans down. You pulled your pants, your jeans all the way down to the ankles. You had these leggings on and a massive bulge in my face. That's what happened.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yes, I was thinking about a different time when I pulled my jeans down a similar way in front of you by surprise to reveal my Stormtrooper underpants.
Well, you've got these incredible leggings. Tell them about your leggings.
Oh, yeah. So I found these leggings on Amazon because I look at Star Wars stuff all the time. These women's leggings came up, and they basically got a big photo of C-3PO down one leg and a big photo of R2 on the other side. And I thought, I know they're women's, but I don't give a fuck. I'm having those.
Hasn't stopped you.
So hasn't stopped me, and they never cease to get great compliments when I wear them out and about. I mean, you know, I do get some weird fucking looks, but, you know, I don't think there's anything. I think most clothing is pretty unisex anyway.
I like them. I like them. I like your
think
style.
They look fine on my legs. I've got nice enough legs that I can wear.
You've got good legs, mate. You've got a good, unique style as well. I like it. You also bought a Jedi robe off of Vazos once as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought a cloaked poncho thing. It looks like something Luke Skywalker would wear. Yeah, I do have that, and I was thinking about rocking that later on this week, maybe, because it's getting really cold now in London.
Yeah, do it, man.
And I might just wear it again because it's so comfortable. It's so huge. It's like walking around with a fucking tent on you. It's this kind of thick kind of what is it? Like kind of thick, heavy, kind of canvasy cotton. It's really really nice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fleecy on the inside, so it's really warm. Oh, it's fucking excellent.
It's like Banther fur.
Yeah, Banther fur. Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's a nice piece. Did you remember when you were a kid the Tunes adverts, the Star Wars Tunes adverts?
As in the Darth Vader breathing one.
Yeah,
brilliant,
should we stick one of them in now?
Brilliant.
They're really cool. Let's play one of those.
6 of our TIE fighters have been destroyed, and regrettably, our radar base has fallen into rebel hands.
Lord Vader, maybe you should try one of these. They actually help you breathe more easily.
Tunes really do help you breathe more easily.
They taste great. But they come in 3 fruity flavors.
So I mean, we're giving loads of money this week to the advertisers for really old products that no one really wants.
Tell us, just plug us now. Even though we were in the 70s, plug us, and we'll give you £1 million. So yeah.
I mean, Star Wars adverts when we were a kid were rare at best, weren't they? I do remember getting really excited one time when I saw a Pepsi advert and it had Darth Vader on it, and he reaches out the screen and he squeezes his hand, and a boy's slurping on his Pepsi, and I think his popcorn all explodes everywhere because Darth Vader's squeezing it with a force, and that was quite exciting because that was to sort of announce, in association with Pepsi, Star Wars is back at the cinema. You know, and when you go and see Star Wars at the cinema, make sure you have a drink of Pepsi, that kind of thing. Yeah. But I just remember when the special edition came out, every Star Wars was everywhere. It was, you could get we talked about Tazos before, they were available. In KFC they were giving out toys, like Happy Meal type things. It was just everywhere you looked, Star Wars special edition was back.
Did you collect any like crisp packets or Pringle boxes or?
No, you know, I did for a while.
I've still got them all.
Everything Star Wars related, I used to crush it down, flatten it, and stick it into a big scrapbook. And also in that scrapbook was loads of photos of my early of childhood Christmases where Star Wars stuff was everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to that book. It got presumably thrown out when I was in that stupid stage in my teens where you kind of just get rid of everything from your childhood without any sort of second thought, and you live to regret it. But no, what about you? You used to keep everything.
Mate, well, you know, I'm sure we'll go through everything when we do that episode where we raid my parents' attic.
But I can't wait. And then afterwards, I'm going to go and raid your mum's underwear drawer.
Oh, bloody hell, mate!
I'll say I'll go to the toilet now, Jude. I'll join you downstairs in a couple of minutes. I'll join you downstairs, but your mum will hear like some footsteps. She's going, "Who's upstairs?" And you'll go, "It must be John. He's just in the toilet. He must be in my ensuite." And I
hope you like Primani underwear, mate. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not really going to do that.
So all I'm saying is, if there's a certain bag upstairs in the attic next to Terence Stamp that is this full of stuff like Pringle boxes with like the original prints from '99 on.
Nice.
I've got some original Pepsi cans with like Obi-Wan on it and Qui-Gon Jinn on it. I know they're all prequel stuff, but it's all from the 90s.
Yeah. You're talking about something that's nearly 20 years old in 2 years' time.
I've got a long Cadbury's tube with a gold Darth Maul plastic head as the lid on it. You know, I've got some really really old stuff. I've got the original. I think it's a Hula Hoops packet of crisps. I kept some stuff, and it was, you know, when we do go down to my parents, I'll see if I can get my brother around because we used to share a room, you see, and it'd
be good to get his memories of sharing a room with you.
He always says, what did he say? Oh, he says, I hope people felt sorry for me because you had like 3/4 of the room dedicated to Star Wars. So I had one wall with nails all nailed into the wall, and I'd hang all my figures in their boxes off each nail, and it was just a whole wall covered in figures. And then another wall would be sort of there were shelves on it, and on that shelves I'd put the crisp packets and the Pringle boxes and all of this other stuff. And then I had this other wall which was just full of posters, and then this special cabinet. And in that special cabinet I kept stuff like I had a Darth Vader helmet. I had one of those like £300 like effects lightsabers. I had this Padme and Amidala China doll, pristine box. Still got it in the pristine box. It's all there. And it was this, it was this crazy.
The toy collectors out there are jerking it right now.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what, there's a picture.
You're really big into the prequel collecting, weren't you? Literally everything.
Well, I was at the age where I had pocket money, and it was coming out at that exact time. So
I really lost touch with all the collecting at that point, but I think it's because the film was such a disappointment to me. And I just really got turned off Star Wars really kind of quickly.
I'm sorry. I love the prequels, and it is, I was 14 when they came out. So I was just at that age.
We were the same age.
And I don't know. I just kind of bought into it all. And my uncle said to me once, you see a Star Wars logo and you love it. It doesn't matter if it's wrong or not. So
he said that to you. He said that he described you.
Yeah, when we went to see Rogue One,
Yeah.
and I think I put on Facebook something like, "That is the best Star Wars film after Empire," and I still stand by that. It still is for me.
Yeah.
And he said, "Really, that's a massive statement." He said,
"Go and see it."
Yeah. And he just said to me, "If you see a Star Wars logo or something, it's the best thing to you." And there's a little bit of truth in that, maybe. But I don't care.
Well, we'll have to see when you watch the Star Wars Holiday Special, which we're doing next week, because next week is Thanksgiving.
Turkey one.
But the turkey one, as you famously once called it. And because we, over half our audience now is America.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd give a little something back, and we'll send you off to your bank holiday, your Thanksgiving turkeys. If you end up like Steve Martin, you're travelling around the country trying to get home for Thanksgiving, maybe you can listen to the episode of the special Turkey One episode.
Well, we were going to do it in the front of a car, weren't we?
We should do it in a car and a plane and also in a train. Yeah, that would be cool. I think we're going to have to try and go on the fly with it. But what we're going to do is watch... We'll tell you a bit more later, but we're going to be watching the Star Wars Holiday Special from 1978. And we're going to be reviewing it afterwards. We're not doing a commentary because it's so long and boring, and we wouldn't be able to do it. Wouldn't be entertaining enough. But we're going to watch it, and we're going to
give our
thoughts on it, and go through and just talk about some certain parts of it and things like that. Going back to Christmas, man.
Go on.
I'll tell you about. Excuse me. Sorry,
bless you.
Going back to Christmas then, man.
Yeah.
I remember that one particular year. This is the year when I really was getting into Star Wars, I think. I mean, maybe the year after that.
Okay, let's set the scene. So you've woken up at 6 a.m, excited.
Grandparents' house.
You're wearing your Star Wars Underoos.
No. Sadly not. But remember going downstairs... walk into the living room. Okay, this is like the first Christmas where my parents knew that for the previous year I had not said anything other than Star Wars. I mean, it was all I was obsessed about. So I remember this Christmas morning like it was yesterday. Open the living room door. First thing that I see, life-size cardboard cutout of C-3PO.
Yeah.
Life-size cardboard cutout of R2-D2, okay, opposite sides of the room, and beside each one was a big sort of sack of presents, and my mum put a Christmas hat on C-3PO, which is quite clever.
A Christmas
and
what?
Christmas hat, a Santa hat.
I thought you said
on
a Christmas
C-3PO.
ham. I was like, what? Go on.
And R2 is decorated in tinsel, and obviously you start going through these presents, and it's all Star Wars related. I remember I opened a box. This is about 1994, probably 1994, I think it was. There was a box of the Bendhams, the kind of the bendy Star Wars action figures you could get, but like a sort of collector's set with all of them in, which was really nice. My favourite, probably one of my favourite things was my brother and I both got some of those Micro Machines play sets from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
He got the Darth Vader head, which opens out into Bespin, Cloud City, and that was really cool. And my one was R2-D2. It opens out into Jabba's palace, and it's got a little Jabba the Hutt in there. It's got like a Rancor pit and a trapdoor that drops open. Beautiful piece. And I think I got the C-3PO one as well at the same Christmas, which opens up into the Mos Eisley Cantina. And I just have really nice memories of that Christmas. I remember there was so many at that time in shops you could get your hands on so much Star Wars stuff. This is before the prequel. Before the special editions and before the prequels. So there's that. The resurgence was coming, and I remember I remember eating loads of little characters like Star Wars chocolate characters, and I remember there was so many Star Wars magazines. I got I think I got like a kind of some sort of souvenir magazine as well. But pretty much every single thing I opened that day was Star Wars related, and it's just one of my happiest sort of childhood memories. I mean, take me back to one of your Christmas days from childhood.
Well, blimey, mate. Okay, well, Christmas days. I mean, this should be in the Christmas special, to be honest. But little snapshot.
I've got a better idea for that.
Go on. Okay,
well, I'll tell you about it. We'll reveal it later to the time. Yeah.
Well, Christmas Day typically for me was waking up at 4 a.m. with just too much excitement, raiding the old stocking fillers. Sort of sitting there with my brother and my sister. And then just going downstairs. Now, the one Star Wars related gift that I remember above all else, all others, there was a Star Wars Trilogy VHS box set that I'd eyed on the internet, and this must be like when the internet first came out. And I remember it loading, like the image just sort of loading and taking about half hour to load, like up, the old modem. And then I went to HMV and I saw it, and it was the one side was black and it was plastic, and the other side was white. So on the black side you had a Darth Vader, peering through this sort of gold curtain, and below him you had like these X-wings just flying over Yavin. And you had a Star Wars Trilogy in gold, and then you'd flip it around the other side, and it'd be all white, and you'd have Yoda peering through the gold curtain, and you'd have the Vader Luke lightsaber battle going on.
That's right.
And it would just, for some reason, I just wanted that, not as because I had the films already, but just as a piece of design.
That was actually the special edition set, wasn't it?
It was. Now, I know that sounds mental, but I'm a designer, and it's stuff like that where I look back, and even as a kid, I loved the feel of the packaging. I loved the playfulness of the packaging, where you peel away the sort of translucent plastic from the outside of that box, and then that Darth Vader peering through the gold curtain suddenly becomes this huge sort of eclectic, beautiful bit of storytelling through imagery, actually. And all of that captured my imagination. Now, of course I watched the films afterwards, but it was just that I just wanted that box, and I don't know what it was. I just wanted that box, and I loved it. I remember getting what else did I get? I got this amazing model of Qui-Gon Jinn back in, it must have been 99 again, that Christmas, and it was just pristine, and it was a limited edition collector's Qui-Gon. I think it was a 12-inch.
Is this the one of him sort of model, crouching with a lightsaber in his arms?
That's right, yeah.
I saw one the other week in a collector's shop.
Yeah,
in a glass cabinet.
Condition, it's not out of the box.
Yeah.
So, stuff like that I just absolutely loved. There used to be a shop I remember called DNA Toys in Chatham, where I grew up in Rochester.
I used to go to Chatham. In fact, that Christmas I described to you was in Gillingham. That's only down the road.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Rochester, really.
Right, yeah.
In Medway.
Just down the road.
We were probably spent that Christmas 2 miles away from each other, which is ridiculous.
Oh, mate. Amazing.
But there used to be this place in the 90s called DNA Toys in a place called the Pentagon Centre in
used to go
Chatham.
there.
And complete dive. I went there the other day, unbelievable. But they stocked so much Star Wars stuff, it was unreal. And I'm talking like, the old 90s Kenner editions where you get like a decent looking Tarkin. Or, like a Luke Skywalker with the muscles.
Right, I remember DNA Toys. I used to go in there a lot when I was a kid with my grandparents. I've just Googled it and I've seen the logo, and it's an incredibly long shop, isn't it? Very, it's an independent kind of version of Toys R Us. Really exciting shop. But I do remember going in there and looking at Star Wars toys, so do carry on.
Yeah.
As a frame of reference, I just wanted to see if I could catch up with you. But yes, mate, you've brought it all back.
But that shop in particular, it was so 80s and 90s, and it was just so dedicated to the wars. It was unreal. But I remember things were just incredibly cheap there. You'd have like all the old sort of Kenner Star Wars sort of 95 Power of the Force figures all in there
steroids
for like
action figures.
It was ridiculous. And I just remember just saying to my parents, I just want go in there and raid it, and they did. And I kind of just had like hundreds of these Power of the Force action figures all on steroids.
There was a time when they really dropped in price, wasn't there, near the prequels coming out?
Like £2.
And you could literally go in there with like a tenner and come out with 5 or 6 or something like that. I do remember getting hold of loads of those, even though I was never really 100% happy with the look of them. So I always thought they were too muscly. And they some of them wouldn't even stand up right because they had they were in such ridiculous poses, like all those Kenner toys at that time were. That also they didn't fit inside the fucking vehicles, which really annoyed me.
Well, but mate, I didn't take them out of the boxes though. That's the thing. Even though I knew that they weren't limited editions, I couldn't break them out. But do you remember when Episode 1 came out and they had that Comtech chip that came with the characters? You'd like hold your mum's razor. It was the mum's razor, like a big version of mum's razor.
Oh,
Well, the Power of the Force actually did a whole series of these things after Episode 1 came out, and you'd had the same chips for like Leia and Luke and all these. So I collected a lot of those as well,
right?
Just so I could hold it up to my chip. So I've got hundreds of those things because DNA Toys were just banging these things out for £1, £2 here and there, willy nilly. And that was.
Is it still there, DNA Toys?
Mate, I'd be surprised. I had DNA Sports as well.
I have to check.
I should have gone the other day.
Let us know if you're down in Chatham. Let us know if there's DNA Toys. I know they got fancy dress nowadays down there apparently, but I can't find anything online about it. So let us know if it's still in business.
Yeah, real nostalgia. Oh, hang on, it's saying it is
still in business.
It's still there, mate.
You know what we should do? Ring them up next week or in a future episode.
Right, and I'll tell you what,
give them a call. I don't think they're going to be open this hour. But
well, mate, I'll tell you what they have got. They've got a website, dnatoys.com. I'm going to put that on Instagram. That's that.
Check that out.
Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, mate, that was Christmas. That was Christmas.
Oh man, Star Wars is a big part of everyone's Christmas if you're into Star Wars, I suppose. It's like I don't think there's a film series I associate any closer with Christmas, and I think it's quite fitting that they now release these movies around Christmas time because it gives us that thing to look forward to, doesn't it?
Well, unless you're the Han Solo film.
Well, I've got a terrible feeling they'll put that back to Christmas just to keep in line with everything else.
You reckon?
It just seems... I don't know, it's going to be really weird seeing a Star Wars film in December and then another one in May.
Yeah.
We're used to having to wait a year. We still haven't seen a trailer for it. We still haven't seen very much
I'll tell you what we have seen
promotional stuff. We haven't seen any action figures. Well, this is a thing, isn't it? You've seen this photo of a cup. in America.
Yeah.
A cinema.
You went mental on that on the Instagram. You went flipping. I was like, all right.
Well, first of all, I thought it was a blatant fan made thing because it was a close up of the young Han Solo, standing next to the woman from Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know the films very well, but
one.
The green alien woman from Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought, well, that's a fucking. They've really let themselves down there in terms of Photoshoppery because you don't. If you're trying to make a convincing Star Wars poster for the Han Solo film, you don't put a Guardians of the Galaxy character in it. But it turns out the cup is actually a celebration of films that are coming out in 2018. Isn't that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what the annotation said on the tweet, supporting message next to the image. I mean, they had everything like Sherlock Gnomes on there as well. Sherlock Gnomes coming out next year. But I don't know. I don't know whether it's legit.
Tomb Raider as well.
When we put that up on Instagram...
It does look a little bit fan-made. It looks like a stock photo of the actor.
Yeah.
What's his name? Aaron someone or other.
Yeah.
And they've like blatantly superimposed it onto the Han Solo outfit from Empire Strikes Back.
Well, this is what everyone's saying on Instagram when we put it up.
It does look very idealised.
Why does he wear the same clothes throughout the whole...
Yeah, exactly. And Chewie looks like the Chewie from The Force Awakens, or The Last Jedi, rather.
Yeah.
It's like the older, bigger Chewie. So, I mean, there's something a bit fishy about it. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was put out by a well-meaning independent cinema chain to make some kind of souvenir cup to celebrate films coming out next year. I don't think it's official, though. I wouldn't say it's our first official image from the new Han Solo movie. But I do think it's weird that even though the movie is still 5 months away, we're still not seeing any leaks of Star Wars Lego. We're not seeing any leaks of trading card artwork
I just
or
think
anything.
People don't care, mate. I think...
What, you really think that no one's leaking this new... Because they did with Rogue One.
Yeah, but Rogue
people
One
were just saying Vader was in it, you know.
If you go online and look at any of the comments section on anything that anyone loads up on Han Solo film, or Solo...
Yeah.
Everyone's slagging it off. No one cares. Everyone's expecting this film to bomb. Everyone's expecting this film to be a completely pointless. I don't think Disney have had any high hopes for it, even though they reshot it and they think they spent double on the film in total.
Yeah,
I just think people really just don't have a place for this in their hearts. They don't really care.
Well, I'll tell you what made people excited this week. Big news. So Rian Johnson is going to be creating... You must know this.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
A whole new Star Wars trilogy.
How have we not picked it up until this point? That's like the biggest news ever.
Because we've been talking... I know it's exciting news, but I mean... I don't know. Everybody seems to be assuming he's going to be writing and directing it. I don't think he'll be writing and directing three movies
that's what it says on
back.
StarWars.com, mate.
Really? Is that the official term?
I
thought the official term was he's going to be helping to create, meaning producing maybe, or co-writing.
He's going to direct it all and write it.
Well, like it's going to be like his Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, man. Let me just get up the official statement because.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't want to misquote them. I just thought it was a bit of people putting putting two and two together and getting
Rian
five.
Johnson, director of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, to create all new Star Wars trilogy. That's the title. That's the starting point.
Yeah.
So let's just go through this. Okay, what I really think's interesting is they say here. Johnson conceived and realised a powerful film of which Lucasfilm and Disney are immensely proud. Now, we know Disney and Lucasfilm, they'll just sack directors left, right and centre, man. If it's not good, they're just getting sacked. So, this film, to be rewarded with an entire brand new trilogy, this film coming, The Last Jedi, it must be good.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm absolutely sure it is. They must be riding everything on it. They're obviously very, very pleased with what they've created. It's frustrating because no one's seen it yet. And we don't really... All we know is that it's obviously being internally acclaimed.
Yeah.
But we obviously haven't got our hands on it yet.
Yeah.
They could have at least let us know this after.
So
after the film came out.
I assume it doesn't explicitly say it here, but it says.
What if there's a massive negative backlash about the film though, and everyone's like, "Fuck this! Oh, I hate this! I don't want to go and see three films written by this guy."
They're professionals. Have been doing this for years. They know. You probably get when you get that sixth sense or that sort of gut feeling that something's going to be amazing. They probably
like we did for the Phantom Menace.
Well, good point. But this isn't just. I think this isn't just Lucas talking crap. This is critical.
Oh, it's not Lucas.
These are critical people. This is Kathleen Kennedy. She's ruthless. She'll sack someone. If it's not good enough, you're getting sacked, and we'll reshoot 80% of Han Solo because it's crap. They don't mess around here. They do reshoots and recreate the whole of ending of Rogue One.
Not fucking about.
They don't mess around. Basically, what's going to happen? He's going to create the characters, and he's got a blank canvas to just do whatever he wants with, which is pretty damn good.
I think so. What do you think it's going to? What we're going to see? What era of Star Wars are we going to investigate with this? Will it be a follow up to The Last Jedi, or will it be going back diving deep into the past, like a prequels?
Well, it's got
like ancient history Star Wars.
We know it's got nothing to do with the Skywalkers trilogy at all. It's absolutely brand new. I think it's gonna need to have something that we know.
Bridge it, familiarity.
Yeah, it needs something. Now, whether that's something to do with the Jedi, whether that's something to do with the Sith, whether that's just ships that we're familiar with, whether it's aliens we're familiar with. It can't all be brand new aliens and brand new stories, and because that's not Star Wars. That's just a space film with Star Wars slapped on the front of it.
Yeah.
So let's just take the characters out. The characters we know and love. What makes Star Wars Star Wars?
Well, it is because the characters are so well drawn. Is the reason why that film was such a success.
But even
without those heroic characters and the characters that everybody could get behind and rally about.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, mate,
it was just spaceships. Isn't it?
But what I'm saying is, even the spaceships are characters. Even the spaceships you're familiar with and you love, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, even if you look at Rebels, the cartoon show, you still get Obi-Wan pop up in it. You still get Ahsoka pop up in it. You still get lightsabers and the Force and all that theming. And you get stormtroopers. So there's familiarity there. You want that. But my worry is that they go so new with this stuff that it's just a new space opera with Star Wars logo slapped on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know.
It could go one of two ways, couldn't it? I mean, I guess a lot of what happens in The Last Jedi will tease us as to what these stories are about. Maybe they're about ancient history of the Star Wars universe, or maybe they're about new concepts
this is the only inkling I think it could be, mate. I know in The Last Jedi you've got that ancient Jedi temple. It could be, those books that Luke's got hidden in that tree. We could see those written for the first time, thousands of years before. We could be on Act 2 when that Jedi Temple was just first being made. So there could be some correlation or something that we've already seen. It could be Knights of the Old Republic. It could be any of those things.
There's bound to be a link. I'd like there to be a link between The Last Jedi and this, because obviously the same writer.
Yeah.
He's come to the table with his ideas for the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And he's obviously got loads of ideas in his head. So much so that they've made a 2.5-hour film. And he's also diving into lore and ancient history of the Star Wars universe and the nature of the Force and how things may not be as we've always been told they are.
Yeah.
So if it explores all of those things with as much care and character-driven story as the original films were, then there's no reason why it can't be a phenomenal success or critical success as well.
Do you know what I'd
I'm
like
sure
them
these
to do?
films will make money. Anything with a Star Wars logo on it makes money, as we've seen time and time again. What would you like to see?
I'd like them to, aesthetically, I'm not talking about time or era, I'd like just aesthetically just be daring enough to do everything by hand, like visual effects, I mean.
Really?
Try and recapture...
Well, like they did in the old days?
Yeah, just try and recapture the 80s. You know, like...
Well, go back to front projection and filming models and stuff like that.
Just because
I just
think from a
matte paintings as
even
well.
just from a conceptual, having the audacity, to be honest, in this day and age, to do it, and the guts to stand up and do it, I think it would be absolutely fantastic. I don't know. I don't think they can do anything between Jedi and The Force Awakens. I just don't think you can. Maybe you can.
I think it's obviously a lot easier to make films that do rely on CGI now. And, I mean, if you look at Rogue One, when you watch Rogue One, it does seem as if it's all very practical.
Yeah.
However, there is a very cool making of sort of featurette that you can get now where you see them filming on the beach and then they're showing you how much of what you're seeing is actually CGI'd in later. And it's so much that you never even knew. Like 90% of what you're seeing wasn't even there. Like you've even gone and put more trees in the background because they felt that it was too empty before and stuff like that. So the CGI is there, but it's done to such an incredible level of detail that it's not like the prequels where we could see everything look like a cartoon. It actually feels like a real living immersive environment. And we were watching, my girlfriend and I were watching War for the Planet of the Apes the other day. We'd not seen it before. It was the latest Planet of the Apes movie. Motion capture gorillas and apes and things in it. One of them is, Andy Serkis obviously famously plays the lead one, Caesar. The look of the fur, the eyes, the face, the tone, the texture of the skin, it looks so real that it's impossible to believe you're watching CGI or motion capture.
Really?
It looks like there's actually a genuine kind of humanized style chimp there in front of you, or an orangutan. I mean, the way that their fur looks when it gets wet, none of that kind of fake CGI water. It actually looks like real wet fur that you can always smell and touch and stuff. And it just frightened me watching it. Frightened me that we've got to a point now where that is so convincing that we don't even look at it and think that's just CGI anymore. You actually think you're watching an actual performance.
It's scary, man.
And in many ways you are.
Very, very scary world.
I tell you what, it's given me a lot of hope for Snoke in this new film, because obviously we're going to be seeing him up close and personal. It's got to look great. It's got to work, and it's given me a lot of hope for it. I think it's a wonderful age. Cinema has got to a point with CGI now where acting has nearly become redundant. I don't think it ever will become redundant, because you need to have a puppet master behind everything. You need to have someone to be the skeleton. But obviously what they can do, what they did in Rogue One with Peter Cushing's face, just imagine what they'll be able to do in 5 years' time. We might even be able to get characters like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, bring them back from the dead. Bring them back from the dead in a big way. That we can put them back into these films. I would not be at all surprised if we even see like a CGI face of Alec Guinness in this Last Jedi or something like that.
Yeah.
That sort of thing would be much... For me, that would make more sense than seeing Anakin Skywalker... Sorry, Obi-Wan Kenobi being played by Ewan McGregor.
Right.
You see what I mean? Because the last time we see Obi-Wan Kenobi, he looks like Alec Guinness.
You need to get a hybrid between Guinness and Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. Yeah, they would.
Well, even if McGregor was to play him and they do CGI over the top of him or something, at least
they would.
Mate, we got so much to talk about in the upcoming episodes.
Well, next week, I'll go for it.
Well, next week we're doing the Turkey one, but when we get back onto some bants. Well, this isn't really bants. We'd like taking this so seriously at the moment. There's a few things I want to, chat to you about, get into details with. There's a new book coming out. It's a journey to Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It's called Canto Bight, and it's sort of stories behind the characters that are in the gambling suite. I don't know, the Las Vegas of Canto Bight. And there's if you go to StarWars.com, there's a little excerpt. And it doesn't give anything away, but there's little hints of, or stories or legends of Luke Skywalker and that sort of thing. And really interested to get your take on that.
Is the book available now?
It's not at the minute, but it's coming out.
There is a Luke Skywalker book out now, though, isn't there? It's kind of like the Legends of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, that's right.
It takes place between... It's like various short stories about Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you don't know whether they're lies or not. Not lies, but sort of legend.
I'm tempted to pick them up. Yeah, I want to pick that up and read it before I see The Last Jedi. What I don't want is to read something that might be a spoiler. I don't think they're going to let that kind of thing out.
Well, the guy that
I just don't want to sort of like...
It wasn't. It was just sort of... some of them will hint to how powerful Luke is.
Right.
But whether that's, a spoiler or not. I mean... Did you ever play... what's that Force game on the PlayStation? Can't remember what it's called.
Force Unleashed with the guy that brings the Star Destroyer down.
I want to see that.
Yeah, they've basically redone that, haven't they, with Skywalker?
I hope so, because I want to see that amount of power.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to talk about next time is Jedi Challenges, the sort of holographic lightsaber battles in your living room. I don't know if you've seen that. It looks incredible.
No.
Looks incredible.
Forthcoming game. All right, we'll talk about it. We better wrap it up. We've done a long one this week.
Yeah,
we've done a long one.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed us talking about Star Wars and our memories of Christmas and adverts and things like that. Please get in touch with any feedback you've got. You can get hold of us on Instagram at BlaWars. We're also on Twitter. But yeah, if you can keep liking, keep subscribing, sharing the show, help more people discover us, that'll be great. Next week, we're going to bring you a Thanksgiving special, and we're really looking forward to doing it. Jude has never seen the holiday special before. If you haven't seen the holiday special either, guys and girls, go to YouTube, look up Star Wars Holiday Special. You can watch the whole thing on there, and watch it in advance, and maybe you can join us with our big talk about it next week. It's going to be funny, I promise you. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And Jude's he's got no idea what he's agreed to do.
I've got no idea, and Thanksgiving. It's only because how many American listeners we got?
I don't know about numbers, but in terms of percentage, it's over 50% of our audience are in America now.
Brilliant. So
which is great.
We've got two British blokes celebrating Thanksgiving.
Come on. 50. Doesn't get better than that. The irony there. The fucking irony there.
All right, fair enough.
All right then, until next time, I've been John Galantini.
I've been Jude Gay. See you later.
May the Force be with you. Thanks for listening, guys. Tell your friends and tell your sister.
And your mum, John's mum.